what time it is.
How it all works.
Come on.
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 How it all.
Well, we are back. It's another Monday. It's another 5:30 in the Central time zone. It's 6:30 in the Eastern time zone, 3:30 in the West. And we are back with another show, another episode of How It All Works. Thank you so much for joining us. I see some of you are already joining us from, I'm not even certain where, because you haven't said anything in the comments. So this is your time. Tell us where you're watching from. Shout out your city, and also shout out who you're coming to see. I know that we've got quite a cast lined up for you today. Let me see if I can throw that up here. Here we go. Got quite the cast up here for you today, and I'm certain that some of you are coming to support Gale Murphy. Some of you are coming to support Damian Chandler. Some of you are coming to support Crystal Carr. And so, yeah, throw that in the comments. Let us know who you're here to support. Hey, some of you might even be here to support me. That's fine too. But man, we can't thank you enough for taking a little bit of time out of your evening today to join us in this episode where we're going to be talking about the writer's process. The writer's process. For those that were with us last week, you know that we had a great time. We covered a lot. And I'm hoping that for those who weren't with us, that you're going to go back and check some of that stuff out, man. A lot of different perspectives, a lot of different ideas all around the concept of using our voices in audio. So last week we did voiceovers, right? So we had Alvin Chia and we had Michael Logan on, and it was great. So definitely go back through, check that out. This week, we're going to be talking about the writer's process. And we've got writers, folks, people who write music on the show today. Excited about that. Excited to bring them out and we can have this discussion. I'm looking in the comments. Let me see. I see somebody just shouting out Crystal Carr. That's what's up. We live. I see you, Alicio. Henry McKigney says, yo, Kirk. All right. Somebody's even from Orlando, Florida. That's good. All right, man. A lot of support coming in the comments. I appreciate you guys for jumping in here with us. And yes, let's engage. As I always share, make sure you put a Q in front of your questions so that we can easily pick them out. Gaston Pierre's in the comments. Some of you might be a little bit delayed. I think you guys are still listening to the countdown clock and responding to that. That's what's up. But man, listen, we're going to dive right in. Our first guest is none other than Gale Jones-Murphy. I don't even know if she needs an introduction. But man, somebody who's near and dear to my heart, my family, family to us, honestly, family. Couldn't have a music writers show without Miss Murphy. So excited to bring her up. And so we're going to get into this intro video. And when we come back, we'll be interviewing Gale Jones-Murphy. We are back. And look who is here with me. So excited to have Gale Jones-Murphy with us today. And so we're just going to take just a few seconds, few minutes here, Miss Murphy, just to share with folks a little bit about who you are, and your relationship to this whole music writing thing. I don't know. Maybe some people don't know, some of the things that you've done, music that you've written. But just take a second right here at the outset to share with the viewers your perspective. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be. Thank you, Kirk, for having me back here. I've been writing music since I was 5 years old. Wrote my first piano piece then. Officially started writing songs at age 19 in college, and haven't stopped since. I think I wrote a song sometime last week, but I've been writing.
We're gonna get into that. So.
I've been pretty much writing every day, or trying to write every day. So anyway, yeah, that's what I do. I've written.
Excellent.
That's all I can say. I write.
Excellent. I'm keep on checking my comments here. It seems like the hashtag Mama Murphy is trending.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
all my children. Sounds like
exactly. Sounds so proper. There it is. But listen, we're gonna dive right in. One of our questions that we have for you, slightly different than our last time together, is this one. We want you to take us through that process, of bringing a song to life, and what that can entail, especially from your perspective. We know that it varies from writer to writer, but take us through that process from your perspective.
It varies for me from song to song. I wish I could tell you there was a direct process that I go to the same place, or I read a scripture, or I go sit by a certain lake, or I have a pen in my hand at exactly 9:17 a.m. That's not how it works for me.
Mm.
Sometimes inspiration strikes while I'm driving or I'm caught in traffic. Sometimes it happens when I'm sitting in church and I hear something in a sermon, and that
Mm.
one line triggers a song.
Wow.
Sometimes it's an experience. The last time I was on the show and I was talking about how the George Floyd situation affected me,
Yeah.
and that turned into a song. Oftentimes, though, I'm asked to write for a situation, a women retreat, write a
Right.
theme song, write for someone's wedding,
Okay.
write for a church event, write for a project, write for a choir, write for a soloist, various things. And so I am open. One of the things that I have to do is not pigeonhole myself in a box. I have to
Yes.
be willing to step outside of what I think is comfortable and listen to the inspiration of God. So that's
Excellent.
it for me.
Excellent. Man, that's good. That's really good. What if you could take us through one experience, one writing experience that led to a specific song? Give us that timeline of how it began, where the inspiration came from, and then what the end product ended up being. And was it what you thought it was going to be when you first started out?
It was 2007, and I know it seems really long ago, but it was my only vocal CD. It's called You Are Not Forgotten.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
title track was written because a few months before, a soldier had been killed on his way home. And when we got the news that a local soldier in Orlando was on his mission home when he was
Mm.
killed 5 days before, I
Wow.
said out loud, "Ooh, I'm sure glad I'm not asked to sing at that funeral." And guess what?
You
The
were asked.
family called and asked me to sing at the funeral.
Oh my
So
goodness.
never tell God, even in just, don't put it in the atmosphere. So I had to sing at the funeral, and there
Hmm.
I am grieving on stage with the whole audience. Four-star generals. He was a postal worker. Mastrapa was his last name. We were
Mm.
so devastated. And then a few weeks later, I asked God to give me a song to express what I was feeling
Wow.
about our soldiers being lost in the war. And then God turned it into We Are All His Soldiers. And so the song is called You Are Not Forgotten.
You are not forgotten.
Every Memorial Day, every Veterans Day, somebody somewhere is playing that. That's on somebody's television show,
Wow.
it's on YouTube, and I never thought that that moment would turn into a song that would bless so many.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I'm looking at my comments here. People are responding to what you have to share, right? They're saying, "Wow, mercy." I mean, recognizing that impact of that song, you probably can't ever quantify it in words. What that impact is going to be, or has been for so many people.
No, I can't. In fact, may I? Because Veterans Day is what? Day after tomorrow. So can I sing just
Yeah.
the chorus? Okay.
Oh, please. You don't have to ask.
There he goes, just a young man, to fight a war in a strange land. And his mother cries to think she may not see his face again. There she goes, just a young girl, to live alone in a strange world. Her family prays to God above to keep her safe from harm. These are our soldiers, committed to fight. These are our soldiers,
Wow.
not forsaken. You will be remembered in our prayers and in our hearts.
Woo.
The mission is completed.
When the mission is
And
completed.
the enemy defeated. You'll be welcomed home again.
Mm.
Back to loving arms. It's enough.
That is amazing. We have Felicia, who was on 2 shows ago. She just said, as a veteran, she wants to thank you. And several people are saying, this is just such a beautiful song. Oh, man. The writer's process, folks. The writer's process. Amazing. I saw Guest and Pierre put it in the chat. Moment into a movement. Yeah, that's the hashtag, folks. Go ahead and hashtag that up. That's real good. That's real good. Listen, I do have another question here for you somewhere. Here we go. And I was going to say, walk us through this writing challenge that you're going through. Is it done, or are you still going through it right now?
Oh, I'm still writing.
Okay. So tell us the parameters. I know you alluded to it in the last show. Go ahead.
All right. So I have a personal goal of 1,010 songs. In 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 32, it mentions that King Solomon wrote 1,005 songs. It also says no one will ever be as wise or as rich as Solomon. But it didn't say anyone could write as many songs as he did. Now, I know that the blind hymn writer, Fanny Crosby, wrote more than 8,000 lyrics. I'm not trying to reach that goal. I just want 5 more than Solomon.
5 more than Solomon.
Yeah, just 5 more than Solomon. So I knew by this year, I knew I already had 700 songs.
Woo.
So I challenged myself to finish and reach my goal by the end of this year. And I was well on my way. By September, from July 2 to September 18, I had written 150 songs.
Wow.
And then there were a few more that I wrote, and so I'm right at about 160. But I stopped, and it was a good reason why I stopped. Life. Life sometimes gets in the way. It was a good reason. Our children surprised us with a new home.
Oh, wow.
That's something.
That's the best. Yes.
Yeah, but it was a blessing. And we moved. We've been in this house for exactly 1 month and 3 days.
Wow.
I now know where the can opener is. But I have spent, just today I found something, that I didn't know where it was. I have spent the hardest, moving is a wonderful thing. But when God told Abraham to pack up and move, I get it now. Lord, have mercy.
Mercy.
That was the hardest thing I've done in my life. I've moved before, but at this age, literally moving, physically moving. Every muscle ached, boxes, throwing things away, making spot decisions.
Wow.
And so the writing stopped. I needed to. I just had to go with what was expedient. So we're in our new home, and I have found a few quiet moments in between looking for the can opener to just contemplate on the blessings of what I have. And recently I found a spot that God and I agreed would be our spot. It's a lake about 10 minutes from here, and a boardwalk, and I go out there and listen to the birds and look for alligators and
keep an eye out.
Yeah, well, I'm on the boardwalk. Hopefully they won't come. But it allows me a moment to just be still enough to hear what he might have to say.
Wow.
And
folks,
that gives me a chance to be inspired to write. So I made a decision. I was writing 2 songs a day. That got to be ridiculous. So I talked to God about that. And I said, look, I'm human. This is much. I know you can do all things, but I can't.
Wow.
So can we just go back and tweak maybe 10 of those that I've written so far? And so he agreed. and then I'll finish my goal by early spring of
Man,
next
we're
year.
gonna have to have you back. We're gonna have to have you back. But Mama, I've got two more waiting in the wings. I've got to get to them, and we're
Okay.
gonna bring. But don't go away because we want to bring
All
everybody
right.
back together
All
at
right.
the
I'm
toward the end of the
anxious to
show.
meet them too.
Yes, yes. So folks, I'm gonna play this clip from our next guest, and after the clip is done, he will be on screen to describe the story behind the song.
Every beat of my heart, every beat of my soul is only for you. It is only for you. And every step that I take, every move that I make, it is only for you. Every beat of my heart, God. Every beat of my soul. Only for you. It's only for you. Take all of me. God, I am yours. And I'm only for you. Yes, I'm only for you.
Yes. Damian Chandler, how are you?
My brother and my friend. I'm doing well, Kirk. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We've been trying to get you on the cafe, but I'll take you. I'll take you anywhere I can get you, man.
Dude, I am so honored. But I gotta tell you, every Friday night you be messing up my sermon prep. You be messing up my rest time.
I know,
My
man.
family don't see me, and then y'all don't go to sleep. I'm on the West Coast. That's like 6 o'clock in the morning over
I
there.
know, man. I know. Listen, I'm trying to rein it in, but let me tell you, it just keeps what the term is. It keeps getting gooder and gooder and good.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. You know what you've created there is a space for creatives to not have to apologize.
Yes.
And when you think about how many spaces exist like that in our church, I mean,
Wow.
there's so few and far between where we can come and be our quirky selves
Yeah.
and talk about technology and all these other things and just have a blast, man. Just have
Wow,
a good
man.
time. So I'm grateful. Just watching is
Listen. I receive all of it, man. I receive it. But
Mhm.
bro, this is we're here to interview you. Talk to us about that song. Only for you. You
Sure.
wrote it.
Yeah.
And you're singing the lead vocal on there. This is your most recent project. Am I correct?
Yes.
Talk to us about that process to actually get to the finished product of that song.
Sure. So for me, I heard, first of all, I've never had an opportunity to meet the legend Gale Murphy. I've never met her before.
Are you serious?
Ever in my life.
Wow.
Like, ever. I think I've been in spaces, but I've never actually seen her live and in person. But a lot of what she was saying is true. When I'm writing music, when I started to write music, it was in a very dark time in my life. And when I would look for a song to express what my heart was saying, I couldn't find one. It became very complicated to go and try to search to see what Hezekiah Walker said or what Fred said. And oftentimes when I would find the song, it was cool, but it didn't say everything that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So I started to just, speak my own heart to the Lord. And really, I started to write, not to be famous. I started to write, which I ain't famous right now. But I started to write because I needed to express something to the Lord. And music was the way that I found to do that.
Wow.
So a few years ago, somebody contacted me, or I can't remember if I contacted them or they contacted me and said, hey, we'd like to record a single for you. And as many songs as I've written, I've never recorded my own single.
Mhm.
And then I had like 300 songs. And I started to go through, I started to go through song after song after song. And when I got to that song, I was like, man, that's an anthem for my life.
Wow.
I'm not a pastor because I love to preach. I'm not a pastor because I love a pulpit. I don't do worship because I need to have a microphone.
Wow.
I really, really, really love God. I love him with every cell in my body.
Wow.
And so when I thought about an anthem that would represent me, that song "Only for You," I mean,
Take
that was
all
it.
of me. My goodness. My
That was
goodness.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That thing is powerful, man. It's powerful.
Praise the Lord.
I've heard it on WJLU driving around here in Huntsville or going down to work where I was working before. And man, it's one of those you just have to kind of think through some things, man. It calls some things to question, like, man, take all of me, you know?
All of me.
That's good, man. That is
All of
really
me.
good.
Praise the
Listen,
Lord, man.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
And it is, so in your opinion, must writers possess certain traits and qualities? Or, I mean, because what I'm hearing, I guess the theme from Gale Murphy to you is this thing can hit you in multiple different ways, right? There's no recipe, if you will, but
Sure.
what if there were some qualities, or can it be anyone? The writer's process, what does it take?
You're hitting on something, and I'd like to touch a philosophy on the backside, right?
Sure.
Creativity was given to you by God for you to express your love to Him, no matter what your creative talent is, right?
Right.
So the challenge is that we've taken creativity in 2020 and we've made it a money-making deal. Right. And because we make it a money-making deal, then when I come to your question, like who can write? Anybody who wants to express their love for God can write a song.
Right.
Anyone can. So who should write? Everybody should.
Ooh,
Somebody
that's good.
said to me the other day, Kirk, and it was so powerful. They said, Pastor, what would be a great discipline for Bible study or for your devotional life? I said, what? Write a song every single time you have a devotion. I was like,
wow.
whoa, that would be amazing. That every time you open up the Word of God, when you receive a revelation from God, go ahead and write a song.
Wow.
Go ahead and sing something. Doesn't matter if it's flat, if it's indifferent. So the answer to your question is everybody and anybody should write music, right?
Wow.
Now, when you ask the question, when someone asks, okay, what about music that is written not just for me? Now it's a music or a gift that God has given me for the world, right?
There it is.
That question, I believe that you need to be musical.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there is such a thing as a Levite, and I believe that people who are Levites do have a creative gift or a creative trait with music, like a sculptor has a creative gift with stone, right?
Wow.
Music and notes, that's our medium. That's where we live. That's what we do. So we're able to hear things like, for example, that certain melodies speak of certain experiences. Just the melody, just the minors in a song can emote a feeling of sadness, and the rising of a song can emote a feeling of gratitude and of victory.
Yes.
When you hear that, dun, 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 you feel like if you're going to war. You know what I mean? That's it. All of those things and traits are things and gifts that writers have and that they understand, so that when you're listening to the song, you're not thinking that is the same beat as Marching to Zion. But I know for an Adventist, Marching to Zion is your war song. So if I wanted to write another war song, I'm listening to Marching to Zion and taking elements out of it and saying, okay, how can we go to war in a new song, a new melody, but with the same feel, right? Man. So those gifts and tools are things that I believe writers have.
Man, wow. Okay, there's several hashtags in that one segment right there, folks. I just wanted to pause here. I'm looking at my chat and I'm like, yeah. I see the fire, I see the gunshots, I see everybody's like, yes, right. That is a whole word right there for somebody that was listening and they're wondering to themselves, but maybe I don't have anything to say. But man, there is just so much that speaks in a song. Okay, in 2 minutes, 2 minutes, because I gotta get to my third guest. I'm so excited to get her on screen so we can talk about her experiences and some of the things that she's written. But in 2 minutes, I want you to give us the story behind this song. I could see Mama Murphy in the backstage with both hands raised. Talk to us, man. Talk to us. I know it's not possible. But what I've asked you is impossible. I'm still wanting you to make an effort. Tell us the story behind the song.
I'm gonna do my best. If you give me 3 minutes, I think I could knock it out.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yes,
3 minutes.
go ahead.
Here we go. A preacher's 3 minutes. I was out of school. I had graduated. I had left the United States and gone to Canada, and I was working odd jobs, Kirk, and I felt so lost.
Wow.
I was sitting in a bank, and I was working there, and I was horrible at what I was doing and feeling dejected every day. And the only thing I could think about was heaven. I was like, the only thing that will save me from what I'm experiencing right now is heaven. So I imagined, what must the Song of Moses sound like? And the Song of Moses, for me, with people coming from all over the world, we couldn't possibly be saying one thing, right? Like, we've all had different experiences. Man. And so the round at the end of that song is me imagining standing on the sea of glass, and we're all articulating to God our praises based on our experience, but all those things come together to really make one song. All these pieces from all these pockets of heaven making one song. So one thing I want to say, so that's a story behind the song. Obviously there's more. The one thing I want to say to someone who's listening, a creative who's listening, a songwriter who's listening, in two areas, and this will take a minute, is that when I wrote that song, I presented it, Kirk, to at least 3 different choirs, not to record it, just to sing it. And I was told on 3 different occasions that song made no sense and it was no good. Wow. Right? Same thing with my book. I presented the book to 3 different people. No one liked it. And when Wayne Buckner heard that song, Wayne started to play all the chords that I had been hearing in my head now for 2, 3, 4 years. So to whatever creative, whatever songwriter is listening today, you don't allow someone else to tell you how good your stuff is. Because Bad for One is a hit for somebody else. You know, don't be depressed. Don't get down. Kurt, I got 30 more seconds. And it'll make sense.
Yes, go ahead.
The book that I wrote was with Faith Words. It's called The Crooked Christmas Tree. And my editor was involved with bringing The Shack for everyone to know.
Right, yeah.
The book that everybody knows. She told me that the book The Shack was rejected 23 times before it was finally accepted. You hear 23 times. 23. So to someone who's listening out there saying that your gift is not valuable because of rejection, rejection is meant for you to go back, edit, make it better, and offer it again to the world. Because when it hits the right ears, it will be a hit for them, even if everyone else says that it was a flop. That's
it right there. That's it right there. Damian, don't leave. Don't leave. I need to bring you back after we hear from Crystal Carr here in just a second. I got to bring you and Mama Murphy back on screen. All 4 of us are going to just chat a little bit before we close this thing out. So please don't leave. And thank you so much, man. Some of the I really hope that somebody has listened. I hope that even in the replay, if you're catching this in the replay, you're not live with us right now, but you're catching this in the replay. Let that message sink in. What you have is valuable. Keep plugging away at it. Keep honing the craft. There is a space. There is a time where that thing will be called and required of you. And I'm telling you, it will blow your mind. Wow. What an experience. This next song that I'm going to play was written by Crystal Carr. You may be familiar to you. May have heard it on the radio. This is on the pop side, R&B side of things. But I want you to check this out.
You're messing up. Why you make this complicated? You say it's love, you say it's love. Why you treat me like I'm basic? You pushing buttons, I'ma blow up. You're not enough, you need to grow up. But you got something I can give up. Let's just stay and work this out. Boy, you know I love you so. That's why you be acting up. Boy, don't make me mad. Don't make me hate you.
Welcome, 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 Crystal. Thank you so much again for taking time to come in and talk with us here on How It All Works about the writer's process. Crystal, tell the folks a
Absolutely.
little bit about yourself. Just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a singer-songwriter. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, went to college in Huntsville, Alabama. I moved to Atlanta after college, and I told them I wanted to be a songwriter. I had tried to be an artist. Actually, not try. I am an artist. But
Come
I
on.
just felt
Yeah.
like I needed to switch. So I moved to Atlanta because I have always loved writing music. I've written poetry since I was 8 years old. A poem of mine was published in a publication, a divine worship book for children.
Mhm.
And ever since then, I've been a lover of words. I call myself a word nerd. 'Cause
Word
just
nerd. I love that one.
anything
That's the
that has to do
hashtag,
with
folks.
words.
Word nerd. I
Word
like
nerd.
that.
So yeah, in Atlanta, I got signed to a publishing deal, and I really, really learned about the music industry, about how to construct and craft a song. And here I am with a considerable amount of placements, and I'm taking time now to work on my own project. So it's a little bit about me.
Excellent. Yeah, we're gonna check out something from that project in a second, but I want to throw a couple of questions to you. The first one is, give us an example of a writing project that you've done, a personal example of, or if you want, just give us this backstory for the song we just heard.
Okay, well, Only Want You. I was in the studio. So when you're signed to a publishing deal, you live in the studio.
Yeah.
It was my first publishing deal, and I went to the studio every single day. So it was one of the songs that I had written and demoed. All of the songs that I write, I demo myself. I have to sing them
Nice.
so that they're played for the artist. And it was just one of those songs where I was, I would consider myself a very eclectic, not only music listener, but writer. And so I was just in a poppy, chipper mood. And they needed a song for a young female artist. And actually, I wrote the song for a much older artist. She was, I believe, 14, 15 at the time. And so it wasn't meant for her, but then she heard it and she loved it. And so she, the rest is history. She performed
There it
that
is.
song on the iHeart Music Awards that same year as well. So
Nice.
it's pretty cool.
Excellent. So here's the second follow-up question from your industry experience, which is considerable. What are some of the key components of a song that you think will make it? Right. I mean, you've had to have seen in the course of your career thus far different songs that didn't have some of the components that quote unquote make it.
Well, I'd have to say the hook. The
The
hook
hook.
is literally just that. It's supposed to hook the listener. That is what makes a hit record. The hook,
Nice.
the hook, because that is what you're going to repeat in your cover when you hear the song. It's supposed to get you. So I'd say if you have a great hook, that is what will make the difference. It really will.
You can build from there. Wow, you can build from there. All
Yeah,
right, so
you can build from there. Yeah, go ahead.
well, no, I was gonna say we have this other clip, just a small clip from your debut. As it's single. Is this a single or is it a full album?
Yes,
Was it?
yes, sure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna play
It's a single.
a little clip from it, and then kind of give us some of the background of this.
Let me again at the midnight. Told you not to do that. Treat me like a lady. I'll be your heaven if you just get to know me. Treat me like a lady. Treat me like a lady. I'll make it heaven if you just get to know me. Boy, I got you so. Let me whisper in your ear while I show you how it feels.
That's nice. Talk to us a little bit. So you do a little bit of rapping on that one. You do a little bit of everything on there.
I do. I do. So
That's good.
I was in the studio again, just one of those days. And the song is about of course, my perspective as a woman in the dating world. Shook is normally a term that means scared and afraid, right? That's shook. She shook. He shook. You know, like. But I used it. I applied it to dating because, in my experience, a lot of men seem to be hesitant to commit, hesitant to really be present. So
Right.
I kind of told my side of the story. You know, he shook.
There you go. There you go.
You know, and the hook is I actually stutter. As a child, I stuttered a lot because I remember going to a speech pathologist with my parents, and I remember them telling my parents her mind is moving faster than her mouth could speak. And so in the studio, I was stuttering you know, I was saying shook. Shook.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, he's like, stop. The producer is like, stop. Do that, but do it intentionally. And so I kind of
Oh wow.
out and I made that stutter the song. So working with producers,
That's amazing.
very important. With the right, they can pull it out of you,
Yeah.
out the pieces of a record, and it's really, really amazing because I've had that.
Nice. That is so good. Well, I think we have an issue with her internet. We've been battling with it backstage this entire time, and so it gave us a good amount. I'm hoping that she'll be able to come back. I'm going to play a clip of from Mama Murphy, and when we play that clip, I'm going to bring everybody back on screen so we can chat it out before we close out the show. Well. That was good fun, right? That had to be fun. Oh man. So I'm hoping that Crystal will disconnect and reconnect and rejoin us here. But man, because she's got a wealth of knowledge and experience to be able to share and add to this conversation. But Mama Murphy, take a second, walk us through. I know I played the absolute wrong piece of that song, but based on what we heard, we already were in a groove. I saw you back there, Chandler. Damian was like, yeah, let's go.
Okay, so before I talk about that song, I want to say something about Crystal. She mentioned the fact that she stutters, and that section was intentionally used in her song.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard the same testimony about Anthony Brown, because
I actually have not.
He too stutters. You know that I got a testimony was mimicking his stuttering.
Wow.
And he was told too that he would not get past that.
Oh,
and
wow.
now he's a songwriter.
Wow.
Right. So
Wow.
this is so critical.
Wow.
This is so critical that our imperfections, God can use them.
Yes,
you
he
know,
can.
What somebody else says is a no, God says is a yes.
Is a yes.
Right?
Ooh.
Right. So what God says is a yes.
I really
Anyway.
hope that Crystal is catching that, and for those that are her followers and friends that have joined us for the show, I'm messaging her now, hoping that she can reconnect and we can get her back in here. But thank you so much for sharing. That is powerful. I did not know that.
I love her style of writing. Oh my goodness, she's so like she said, eclectic.
Yeah.
Eyes Haven't Seen was just a good old churchy choir song. And it needed to be for a project. And I wrote Eyes Haven't Seen for my church choir. And when I was asked by Dynamic Praise if I had a song to submit, I kind of said it, well, yeah, you might want to listen to it. And they went, yeah, we're definitely doing this song. So I hope choirs make a resurgence soon as COVID is over.
It's over, right?
But
We can have big,
sometimes
large groups together again. Man, Crystal, we
I was
were.
just talking about,
Go ahead.
Oh.
no, just,
Oh no, you too. I remember Dynamic Praise days, and that is one of the most beautiful experiences of my life.
Wow.
I mean, those songs that you've written, both of you. I mean, I didn't even know Damien wrote that other song. I was like, oh. I mean, it's such a pleasure to meet both of you because I mean, those songs have literally changed lives, including my own. And the work that you do when you are writing a gospel song, it is a spiritual experience. All writers go through a spiritual experience, but those experiences are special. You know, they really are.
Yeah. Man, and she was sharing a story about Anthony Brown and a song that he did where they put that stutter in there too because he stutters as well. So I thought, man, that's so powerful. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I think she froze again.
But she's back with us. She's back with us. But yeah. So in this, this is the time where we're supposed to be getting questions from our audience, but I am only seeing hashtags and comments from what has been shared. But man, so audience, if you have questions for our writers, they're all on screen right now. Talk to us in the comments. Put a Q in front of your question. And while they're doing that, go ahead, Damien.
So, can we ask questions of each other? Yeah.
That would be great. Right there. So, Crystal, you said something earlier that was so powerful because I write books and I also write music. When it comes to writing books, I just need a computer. When it comes to writing music, it seems as if it's helpful, even for you, Gale. You want a choir to sing on that? You need a choir. Crystal, you were talking about a producer pulling things out of you. It seems as if songwriting that would seem to be a solo act is really, you need a community of people that actually brings this thing to light and pulls this thing out of you.
Right.
So, Crystal, can you talk to us as writers a little bit? Kirk, I'm taking your spot.
Please do.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how you identify the person that fits well on your team, that person that pulls that song that God gave you out of you.
Man,
how do you identify the people for your team?
Right. Okay, there's a really bad storm here in Florida, so please pardon me. I really hope I get to say this. the lights will turn off again. As far as you said, what was your question again? What was the last part of it?
Like you have a team. You talked about a producer that was pulling some things out of the song. Like
right.
How do you connect with that person? How do you identify the person that works for you and your voice?
Well, I've had some good experiences and some bad experiences. You get a lot of fake energy sometimes when you're dealing with a lot of people out in the world who do music. And I have learned to really tap into the spirit of discernment that I believe I get from my mother when identifying people's spirit and their energies. And I think, though, when you kind of I've literally stumbled into studios, because it's a really, when I was signed, it was a huge studio and there are different rooms. So I literally, I'd act like I own the place and just go into different rooms and be like, hey, hey, how you doing? And I meet people that way. You kind of read the room. If they don't want you there, you kind of just tiptoe out the back, But as far as working with people, I just let it happen organically. I call the songwriter-producer relationship a marriage because when you find the right one, it is something really, really special between the songwriter and producer because you're sharing back and forth lyrics, sounds, melodies, tones, background vocals. I've worked with a lot of producers who can sing themselves, and they've kind of directed me there and vice versa. So I think that when you're in tune with God, and a lot of people call it the universe. I call it God because He's the author of the universe.
Yes,
Mhm.
So when you're in
Amen.
tune
Preach now.
with that, when you're in tune with that, I think that the right people present themselves for the purpose of the song. And although, like I mentioned earlier, that fake energy, you can run into that fake energy. A lot of times it was necessary for that song to be successful. I wrote a song called Ratchet Life that appeared on
Yes.
the TV show Star on Fox Networks. Yeah. And a lot of people think that that's like a rap song or something, but it's a ballad. It speaks against the ratchet life. It's about a girl who lives a life that is fake and that is not her in her heart. And it's the lyrics of the song is no more of this ratchet life. You hide behind your disguise, but I know the truth. I being yourself, because you're really looking in the mirror. So when you run into people to create a song, you have to kind of accept it for what it is for the sake of the song. And when you get a beautiful thing, you get a beautiful little piece of art, your baby. It's a proud moment.
That's good. That's really good. That's really good. Wow.
Thank you.
That's good. Listen, it sounded like one of you. If you guys have any questions for one another, let's do that. But there are one or two that have come into the chat, so I want to see if we can get to those. But I wanted to give a moment. It sounded like Miss Mama Murphy, you had something you wanted to ask as well.
Well, first of all, Crystal, it's such a pleasure to meet you and to hear the talent that God has given you. So here's a question. I write
You as well.
gospel and spiritual music, classical art. And the question I know a lot of people will ask, have you found that one style of music is something that you gravitate to more than others?
Yeah.
Wow,
good
that's
question.
a great question for me because I cannot confine myself to one genre of music, and I have tried. I have written country songs where
Wow.
country people have listened, not country people, but I've taken a song to Nashville and I played it for the ASCAP representatives, and they said, "Is she black?" This is funny because it's one of those moments. And I was like, standing right here, yeah, I'm a woman of color. But
Wow.
as far as
Wow.
writing, I grew up in the church, so I absolutely have to, as a necessity, write those songs in dedication to the Lord. And I haven't gotten the opportunity to write for a genre, but hey, there's time. As long as God gives it to me, there is time. So I definitely would like to work with some more artists in that area. As far as the R&B hip hop area, I live in Atlanta, so it's kind of like that's the majority of what I was surrounded with. And you learn,
Right.
I really have learned to be a chameleon because, there are artists will walk in the room and I've had people tell me, I don't like the song, I hate it. And I was like, oh, sorry, here's something else I got. But it has taught me a lot of discipline when it comes to writing music. I have seen the strictness of it, the technical pieces of it. So much so that at times I have lost the passion for it at times, because I've been so I'm a people pleaser,
Wow.
you kind of get in those moods. But now I'm at I just had my son, and I am in a
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah,
thank
congratulations,
you. He's 9
definitely.
weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Man, like you just had him.
Yeah. And let me tell you, childbirth is a special thing. Anyone who's had a child, women.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying we deserve a trophy.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, you
Because it
do.
is not 32 hours of labor. Okay.
Whew.
But after that experience of having a C-section
There's
and
a
all
song
that, and
there.
I'm like, man, life is short.
That's
Yeah. Oh yeah. Life is short, and I really have, taken time away from it, step back, especially because of COVID as well, to recalibrate and really connect with music. I've listened to it more because now when I listen to it as a writer, very critical of everything I hear. But something about gospel music, it allows you to just let go. I can't listen to gospel music in a critical manner because I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, ooh, this is feeding my spirit, you know? So that is the beautiful thing about writing gospel music. It's freeing instead of confining. Because
Wow.
a lot of artists I've seen in the industry, troubled people, they release their demons into the song. And I'm just gonna get real for a second. And that's what you do. You know, you're releasing demons, but in gospel, you're giving praise and you're allowing the Holy Spirit in. It's not an outward experience, it's an inward. So that is what I've noticed about the difference, you know, of the industries.
You know, you just said something. I
My
was on a
goodness.
plane once and sat next to the ghostwriter, for Mary J. Blige. And I asked him his experience of how he writes. And so, you know, he gets in his chair every day, same time, with his white Zinfandel wine, and he sits and waits for his pen and quill to start moving. And so I asked him, so what does that feel like? He says, well, I just wait for the voice to tell me what to write. And so I asked him, has he ever written gospel music? And he said, yes, but it's a different kind of spirit. And I said, right. He says, and that's
absolutely
hard
right.
for me. He said, that's harder for me to do. I'm raised in the church. I go to my grandmother's church whenever I can. He says, and I know the words, but it's a different kind of spirit.
Wow.
So yes, it is a difference.
Wow. Well, listen. I don't want to. This is phenomenal. I do want to throw one question to the entire panel. All three of you, if you could take a stab at this one. This is a question that came in from the chat from one of our viewers on YouTube. What is one message you would give to a new songwriter? One message you would give to a new songwriter.
One time I had a conversation with one of the best songwriters in our church. His name is Halloran Hill, and a lot of people know Halloran.
Yes, I do.
And I ended up having a conversation with him, and Halloran gave me a piece of information that was so helpful, especially in gospel music. Sister Gale and Crystal, what people end up doing is writing kind of the first thing that comes out. You write it down, you know, so Jesus Christ gave me life, and then I'm gonna be all right. Woohoo! We're gonna be all right. And then you're gonna invert. By my Jesus Christ gave me life, then I'm gonna be all right. Woohoo! We're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like, what Halloran said is, if you want to write a good song, write it, get rid of it, rewrite it, get rid of it, rewrite it again.
Wow.
Crystal, you're a wordsmith. So thinking about a different way to say what you are trying to say. And that's really the work. Like when you think about, Crystal was talking about the hook, right? And focusing on the hook. But Crystal, if I were writing a love song, I simply said, I love you. I mean, that's been said a million times before. But how do I love you? And how do I feel you? How do I see you? And what do you mean? And finding all those beautiful nuances. And it reminds me of God's creation at the very beginning. Every leaf on every tree is different.
Wow.
Every branch on every tree, different. Every blade of grass is sculpted. Like God doesn't do the same thing twice. So what I would say to a songwriter is you need to take on that creative tendency of God to do a new thing and to write it in a new way. If it's the same words, then the melody should feel different. If it's the same melody, then the words should expand. So that if I'm talking about love, when you're finished listening to my love song, or if I'm talking about God, when you're finished listening to my gospel song, you feel like if your understanding of God or love has been deepened because I didn't just say it the way that it was said before.
There it is.
So write, rewrite, and rewrite.
Man.
Oh, wow. Okay, you left nothing for the rest of it.
I was going to say, man, I'm not certain. But there it is. I mean, if you want to listen, I mean, that was good. Hey, Damian, that was phenomenal.
good.
That was phenomenal. But I still feel like there's still nuggets of wisdom that that Gale or Crystal can share with us. So there's a question on the screen. We're wrapping up in the next 3 or so minutes, and I still gotta give you guys a chance to plug your hustle, tell people where they can follow you and all that stuff. So speak to this question. What is one message you would give to a new songwriter?
Go right ahead, Crystal. I'll be last.
Okay. I would say, because Damien kind of, he really said a very important point.
Absolutely.
But what I would say is confidence. That to me is a very, very key component, even in vocally singing. I've witnessed people not confident, in singing.
Yeah.
And after some training, you notice the confidence, and then they hit those notes. And it's not that you can't do it. It's that you have to believe in your talent and in your craft and do it. And it's a piece of the puzzle. As Damien said, you must look at it as a special work of art, and you have to be a scientist. Even Michael Jackson said it. He said, you must be a scientist of your work. Take it apart, put it back together again. But when you're confident, you don't second guess it. You have to land on the lyrics. You got to land on the message. You got to land on the point of it all.
Right.
So I'd say confidence for sure.
Good. That's excellent. That's good. We're waiting. One last person to go.
I would say be yourself. Be true to your experiences. Your writing is going to be different from someone else's. As much as I love Richard Smallwood, because I love his writing,
yes,
I'm not trying to imitate all of his songs.
Right.
Because God has given me a different perspective.
Excellent.
A different perspective. And as he mentioned before, if you're trying to say you're going to talk about God's grace, everybody can talk about God's grace. But what does it mean to you? How is it different for you? Come up with creative words about how his grace is as deep as water in a cool well, or something that is descriptive, that talks about how it is for you.
Right.
Be willing to use your seasons in life as a new platform and a new diving platform to find a new way to write. Okay?
Yeah.
How I wrote when I was 19 is not the way I write now when I'm 66. I've seen a lot of things and done a lot of stuff.
Right.
Been forgiven way too much. So I've got a new
perspective. Excellent.
And so use your perspective, your angle. Look at it from every angle. As a classical person, I try to take something that I've written in 4/4 and say, I wonder what it sounds like in 6/8. I wonder what happens if I change it to 5/4. I wonder if I change it from major to minor.
Okay.
What if I change it from minor to major?
To major. Wow.
What if I make it a country song instead of or a southern gospel song instead of a urban gospel? What if I make it a Christian contemporary versus a hymn? What if I just write a hymn? There's so many ways to attack and come at it. So don't limit yourself. Don't throw anything away, because what you thought was trash yesterday is going to be great tomorrow. So that's my advice. Yeah.
That is gold. That is gold.
And you're like, yes, I need it.
We're going to stay right with you, Mama Murphy. Just tell the folks where they can find you, how they can follow, how they can support the projects that you're currently working on. Where are you going to be singing next week? Talk to the folks.
Oh, please. That's a good question.
Where are you singing next week?
I'm doing local church things. I'm happy at the platform where God has given me.
Excellent.
So this week is revival at the Mount Sinai Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I am singing at the revival on Friday night. I'm
Nice.
also singing Thursday night on a Zoom revival somewhere in Greenwood, Mississippi, Shiloh Seventh Day Adventist Church.
Adventist Church. Okay.
And right, which is fine. But on Sunday mornings I'm with the Methodists, and I'm all over Facebook and
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So you can find me on iTunes and YouTube, and I don't know where my face will pop up, but it will.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you. Thank you.
That's a good
wherever
problem.
God puts me.
That's a
Yeah,
that's the
right.
that's
I
the
just
best way to
finished.
say it.
Yeah, right. I just finished 3 blessing projects. One for the
Oh.
Orlando Police Department, and one for the SDA Ministers of Music. Park did that. At
Okay,
RTC.
yeah.
So that was just released this past week. So I'm on that.
Excellent. Folks, we take those notes down. Make sure I see Marguerite's in the comments saying don't throw anything away. Wow. And somebody else is saying there's no way you're 66. In the comments, they're saying there's no way you're 66. God is good.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, ooh, yes, he is.
Crystal,
good.
Crystal, tell us where people can find you, how they can follow you, how they can support what you're doing. Well, come on. We're right at the time when we needed the
It
internet.
is. I
Oh,
am
go ahead.
Crystal Carr on Instagram,
Yes.
Twitter, and Facebook. You got me?
Yes, we got
Am I
you. Go
good?
ahead. Sorry.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead.
It's I am Crystal Carr. Okay. I am Crystal Carr on Instagram. It's Crystal Carr on Facebook. I am Crystal Carr on Twitter. I am Crystal Carr on YouTube. So you can subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm currently
Nice.
working on my own project and simultaneously working as a songwriter always. I'll never stop writing music. So
Excellent.
yeah, you can keep up with me those ways.
Excellent. Damian.
I don't pop up nowhere. I'm not on nothing.
He's gonna
No,
be on
right
he's gonna be on the cafe Friday night.
No, y'all be going too late. Right now, I'm serving at my church here. I've actually had conversations. This is weird that this came up, Kirk, because recently I've been having conversations about seasons in your life and asking myself questions about my musical season in terms of putting things out. And,
Right.
feeling okay if the Lord said that period of time is over.
Mhm.
But just wondering, asking God questions. And I'll say to any creative out there, make sure you're asking questions about the season you're in,
Amen.
that you are not swinging with an axe when you should be shooting with a gun. You know what I mean?
Woo.
That the season kind of came to an end. So musically, I'm not really doing a lot musically. There's stuff out there on iTunes that I've written on or sung on or something like that. So that's out there. You can check that out. But on a weekly basis, I am at my church and just having the opportunity to preach the gospel. And I'm enjoying that. And then also in terms of books, you can check out the books on
Absolutely.
Amazon
Absolutely.
or Barnes & Noble. Walmart carries it. Target carries it.
Give us the names, please.
Actually, it's Christmas time.
Good.
So the Crooked Christmas Tree, that's available almost anywhere that you can buy a book. You can go and check it out. It's a great story. And the second book is I Am John. And I Am John is a retelling of the story of David in a creative way. So trying to use my creative juices wherever God would open up a door.
Man, that is amazing. I want to just take a moment right here as we're about to close it out to say a word of thanks to the panelists for taking time out of your busy afternoon, busy evening, and sharing with the audience, your perspective and your process and some of your creativity, some of your experience. I mean, it has just been a rich time together in this episode of How It All Works. And I want to say that to each and every one of you. Hang around for just a second as I close it out. And then I just want to say a quick word to you before you go. Let's see here if I can get myself together. Here we go. I just want to say a word to those who are watching. Kind of need to move my lower third here. To those who are watching, look, next week on the channel, we have the music workflow. And if you don't know what that means, it is intentionally vague. Okay. It is intentionally vague. We are going to have Roby Burton and John Stoddard. And John Stoddard is we're going to me and Roby are basically going to serve as you, right? We're going to be representatives of you in the audience. And John Stoddard is just going to walk us through some of his workflow, some of the tools that he uses, some of the platforms that he uses to be able to put projects together from different places, even as he travels and he has this crazy schedule. So music workflow, everyone's workflow is different. Let's hear two unique perspectives. If you don't know Roby Burton, then you're missing out on a good treat. Roby has a very unique way of bringing all the pieces together as well, and I love him. That's my brother, and so we're just so excited. We're gonna have him back on the channel next week. The last weekend in the month of November is going to be audio engineering for live productions. We have just been on audio music this entire month of November, and in the month of December we are going to be looking at video production. So you don't want to miss that video production, man. It's going to be amazing. Thank you guys so much. I hope that in this time that we've spent together, we've gone a little bit over, but I hope that in this time that we've spent together, you had your aha moment, that the light bulb went off, and you kind of saw some of the pieces coming together, peek behind the veil a little bit in terms of everyone's perspective and their experience and their expertise as they work in their field and their vocation. And I'm hoping that somewhere in the show, somewhere in the hour, that you were able to figure out how it all works. We will see you next week in our next video.